on, everyone? Dustin Stearman, Vert, Cannabis' tech-enabled packaging platform and brand accelerator. We're here live at MjBizCon 2023, Cell Block 40, hosted by Custom Cones USA and Day Savers. I'm here with Tucky Blunt, founder of Blunt and More? Blunts and More. Tucky, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Thank y'all for having me. Shout out 40 Ton. Shout out Vert. Shout out everybody. Shout out BizCon. I'm here. I'm chilling. We here at BizCon. We in the joint bar and lounge, and yeah, I'm just enjoying myself.
I'm right there with you. It's been a great start to the show. Vibing right.
So far, so good. The vibe is vibing.
Tell us a little bit about you. I mean, people that are going to be out here that don't know who you are, give us a little bit of your story and your background.
I can do that. So my name is Alphonso Tucky Blunt Jr., born and raised in Oakland, California. I'm 43 years old, and I've sold cannabis since I was 16. I was arrested for selling cannabis in 2005, and then in 2018, I qualified because of that arrest for a program called the Social Equity Program that debuted in Oakland, and I became the first social equity retailer anywhere in the world. What that means is I'm the first person that went to jail for selling cannabis to own a store selling cannabis, and my store is 13 blocks from where I got arrested. I'm also a father of 5, a grandfather of 2, and a husband to a beautiful wife, Kimberly.
The most important part is the family. That's what we do it for, baby. That is what we do it for. I love that. So 13 blocks. I mean, there's a lot of history that goes around with your story, right? You know, we could talk about that story, but I think one of the things that you share with me that you wanted to share today is sharing some of your knowledge and what you've learned over the years that other operators who are out there walking in the same shoes, that have done time, that are out there chasing the dream right now to build in this industry and not have people coming down their back, chasing them down, have that freedom to go out and build. I'd love for you to share a little bit about, you know, top 2 or 3 things that you would encourage another operator who hasn't yet learned what you've learned on the legal side of this business. What would you share?
So it's more than 3, I'm sure. But top 3 is definitely, no, these are just, it's just because you learn something every day. And if you feel like you know everything in this space, then you shouldn't be in this space. And that's in any space. So it's something always to learn. But I think top 3 at things that I would give for advice to other retailers or just anybody trying to get in the space, find a good partner. I know that sounds very vague, but it's hard. You're probably going to go through maybe 2 or 3, unfortunately. But try to find a good one if you can out the gate. Read everything. Read everything. Understand what you're signing, because if you don't, you might be signing your life or your license away. And third, if you're not happy with something, say it. Speak on it. You don't have to fear someone because they're loaning you money or they have a status or whatever the case may be. We're all human and we're all here and we're all trying to do something positive in a space. So if someone's not doing you right, call them on it.
I think the one that you called out about partnerships, you know, I could speak to that for myself. I've been in the industry, cannabis, I've been in and around it for 8 years. I've been in packaging for 20. I haven't found a good partner until the last couple years, to be honest. And I'll tell you, you know, partnership is everything. It's a marriage. I love that advice in the sense that, you know, going through that divorce is real hard when you find.
No. I'm agreeing with you. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
It costs more than divorce.
And you lose a lot of sleep and hair. I can speak for that. But truly, I think like you just said, if there's one thing that I would also highlight, it is taking the time to pick out the right partners. It's really easy to get into business with somebody, really hard to get out. Tell us a little bit more about what you're doing at the retail side, right? You know, retail is super competitive, especially in a market like California. What are you doing to innovate right now? And how do you keep, tell us about your community. Like, who are your shoppers and what are you doing to serve them?
So my store, where it's located, we're right across from the Oakland Coliseum where the A's used to play, where the Raiders used to play, and where the Warriors used to play. So when I opened, it was a great space to be at. We had 3 teams. It was great. It's been a little bit of a decline because the teams have left, but I have a consumption lounge. I have the first outdoor consumption lounge in Oakland, so you're able to smoke cannabis on my property. I always have food trucks there. I always have music and different artists doing shows. We do comedy shows. So the way I'm kind of like servicing my community is by providing them a space to commune and consume safely. I have parking, I have a security guard. The lounge itself is blocked off from the public so you can't see in or out. So it's just trying to create a space, kind of like the vibe out that when I got arrested, my store is kind of set up how my turf was. I was outside, like hanging out, playing dominoes. We would just kick it. So I've made my store kind of like a kick it spot, and my clientele reflects that. I've had people that are as young as 18 with their ID, but my oldest person that I've met while I was there was 84. So I have people coming in there from all ages, all demographics, and they love it the same because it's not about a color or anything to them. It's just about blunts and more and it being a happy store. So pretty cool.
That is really cool. I mean, I think one of the things that I've not seen enough of is differentiation at the retail level. I have come across it, but there's a lot of folks doing the same stuff, right? And it's not hard to differentiate. You just got to pick out what's going to make you unique. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about so you sell product at the consumption lounge, right? Okay. So what's happening with product in the market right now? And like, what are your top moving products? What are you carrying to cater to your community? What are they looking for? Is there innovation happening out in the market? Like, how have you seen the space evolve over the last 4 or 5 years?
Cool. So the space is up and down. Right now, there's a lot of the same weed going around. There's a lot of people white labeling the same weed. That just happens at certain times of year. If like I know, there's a bunch of candies around. There's a bunch of, what's the other one? Cakes was around a couple months ago. So, you're going through that. But for me personally, what I try to do is I used to sell weed on the street. So I understand that people can go to the street and get it cheaper. So what I've been trying to do with all my vendors is like, hey, it's hard on all of us. Lower your price on them so I can lower the price on the customer and we can sell more weed. It works. But, certain vendors, they got their hard line. They got to charge what they got to charge, and you got to do what you got to do. But for me, I'm in East Oakland. East Oakland is, kind of an impoverished area. I don't want to charge $80 an eighth. Like, I'm not going to do that. So if your weed wants to be in here, it can't be that high. You know what I mean? And that's just me personally. Like, I know where I'm at. You have some people that may come in from out of town and want to spend that on the eighth, but the average person I have people that come to my store every day. They're not coming to spend $8 an eighth. They want to come in and maybe get a $25 or $30 eighth. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe, spend something else with their money. Get a pre-roller. You understand what I'm saying? So I try to cater to the people that look like me in my community, but I do have some of the high end. I do have some of the lower end. I have the mid end. You know what I'm saying? But I try to support every brand, as long as you're coming to help sell your weed. Something I've noticed with the space is that a lot of these brands get in the store, and that's the last you hear from them until it's time to get paid. I pay COD, but a lot of people do terms. But until they get paid, you don't hear from them. And it's like, dude, you need to come help sell your product. Come do a PAD. If you don't want to do it, then let my staff do it. Let them do it. Pay them to do it. So I was just trying to give them, and I have a lounge. You should want people to come test your product in the lounge. Come have a dab day if you sell dabs. Come have a free pre-roll giveaway if you do flour. If you do oils and creams, come have a day with massages. Come use my lounge. So far so good. I can't complain.
Yeah, I think I really appreciate you sharing that knowledge, man. I think the consumer right now has evolved with what they're looking for. And, the game is changing. The game is changing rapidly, and you got to stay ahead of it. Just to wrap things up, if there's one piece of, encouragement that you would share with those that are out there building in mature markets or new markets, give us some encouraging words.
If you are trying to get in the cannabis space until they change anything and you're trying to grow and sell, which means plant touching, learn what 280E is. All the people that want to plant touch, look up 280E. 280E basically says you're selling drugs. You don't get any tax write-offs. So you can't write off anything for your business. But let's just say you do art or you do packaging. You can get in the cannabis space right now and don't have to worry about 280E. And you're doing something in the space. It's just space adjacent. We call that ancillary. And if I was you looking at this right now, I would look into getting in the space with an ancillary function. Don't try to get in here to grow and sell. You're going to go about 3 to 5 years without making any money, and you're going to lose about $3 to $5 million. And I know most of us don't have that to lose. But if you're working your ancillary business to help fund you're plant touching, it'll work out for you a little bit better, in my opinion.
I think that's a great piece of advice in terms of having cash flow for the operation that's burning cash. Speaking from picks and shovels, there is money to make in picks and shovels. Thanks for joining us today, brother.
Day Savers is super excited to announce the partnership with 40 Tons on the 40 Tons Cones for a Cause edition, where 10% of proceeds go to the 40 Tons Foundation. This is on top of our existing Cones for a Cause charity line of cones, which started with the USA tipped cones, which go to veterans cannabis related charities, as well as the rainbow tipped flag cones, which go to LGBTQ pride related charity. Each pack of the Cones for a Cause come with 3 109 millimeter king size cones, and as with all Day Savers products, these are all carefully tested for heavy metals, pesticides, and microbials. If you're a retailer already carrying 40 Tons products, you're definitely going to want to carry the 40 Tons Cones for a Cause edition to sell to your consumers, as well as the USA Veterans editions, as well as the Rainbow Pride Tip edition. If you have any questions, these are all available for sale on daysavers.com. Please call or email us with any needs that you have.